This is Glorieta Pass, a strategic gateway through the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in New Mexico. In March 1862, it became the stage for one of the most pivotal yet overlooked battles in the Civil War. The fight here would decide the fate of the Confederacy's bold attempt to take the West. Hi, I'm Johnny Anderson. Join us for this episode of Lone Star Warriors as we follow the Texans' journey through the deserts of New Mexico, their victories, defeats, and the ultimate retreat from their dreams of expansion.
In late 1861, Confederate General Henry Hopkins Sibley, a former U.S. Army officer familiar with the Southwest, proposed an audacious plan to capture the New Mexico Territory, secure the Santa Fe Trail, and potentially expand Confederate control to the Pacific. Texas would be the spearhead of this effort. The Army of New Mexico, commanded by Sibley, was made up of roughly 2,500 men. Key units included the 4th, 5th, and 7th Texas Cavalry, the 2nd Texas Mounted Rifle Battalion, and supporting artillery. These Texans represented a cross-section of the frontier, rugged, determined, and eager to carry the Confederate banner westward. The campaign began in late 1861, with Confederate troops departing from San Antonio. Traveling west, the force followed the San Antonio-El Paso Road, traversing over 600 miles of harsh terrain through modern-day West Texas. Along the way, they crossed the Pecos River, passed through Fort Davis, and reached El Paso by early January 1862. From there, the Texans moved northward into New Mexico, following the Rio Grande toward their ultimate goal, the Union stronghold of Fort Union. The journey was grueling, marked by supply shortages, harsh weather, and illness. Many soldiers endured the campaign with little more than dried beef and water, while their horses and mules suffered from overwork and malnutrition. On February 21, 1862, Confederate forces met Union troops under Colonel Edward Canby at the Battle of Valverde. This crucial engagement occurred near Socorro, New Mexico, along the banks of the Rio Grande.
At Valverde, the Texans faced a formidable Union force, but General Sibley, reportedly either sick or most likely drunk, left leadership to Colonel Tom Green, commander of the 5th Texas Mounted Volunteers.
Green, known for his aggressive style, rallied the Confederates with a bold cavalry charge that overwhelmed the Union left flank. The 2nd Texas Mounted Volunteers, alongside the 4th and 5th Texas, played a key role in this charge, helping to seize Union artillery and drive their opponents from the field. The victory at Valverde opened the door for Confederate advances into Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Yet, the Texans' supply problems remained a ticking time bomb.
By late March, Confederate forces advanced towards Fort Union, but their progress was halted here at Glorieta Pass, where they encountered a combined Union force of regular soldiers, Colorado volunteers, and New Mexico militia under Colonel John Slough.
The battle unfolded on March 26 to 28, 1862. Confederate troops, now under Lieutenant Colonel William Scurry, initially gained the upper hand, pushing Union forces back through fierce fighting. The Texans displayed incredible tenacity as they advanced through this narrow, mountainous terrain. But the Union had an ace up their sleeve. While Scurry's men pressed the attack, a Union detachment led by Major John Chivington executed a daring flanking maneuver. They destroyed the Confederate supply train at Johnson's Ranch, cutting off vital food, ammunition, and medical supplies.
After their hard-fought victory at Glorieta Pass, the Confederate Army of New Mexico fell back here to Santa Fe. With their supply train destroyed and their forces outnumbered, they had no choice but to retreat southward, abandoning their dream of a Confederate Southwest.
The retreat was brutal. Confederate forces were harried by Union troops and local resistance as they made their way back to El Paso. By the time they reached Texas, the Army of New Mexico was a shadow of its former self, with many men and horses lost to starvation, disease, and combat.
Here at the Santa Fe National Cemetery, the cost of the campaign is evident. Union and Confederate soldiers who fell during the battles of Valverde and Glorieta Pass lay side by side, their sacrifice a stark reminder of the campaign's human toll.
The 2nd Texas Mounted Volunteers, along with the 4th, 5th, and 7th Mounted Volunteers, played pivotal roles in this campaign. Men like Tom Green led with courage, but the campaign's failures highlighted the logistical and strategic challenges of waging war in such an isolated region.
The New Mexico campaign was a bold gamble that ultimately failed. For the Confederates, it was a story of triumphs on the battlefield, but defeats in strategy and logistics. For the Texans, who marched across the deserts and mountains, it was a test of their endurance and resolve.